it's Marguerite, and today's lesson is on a blind stitch. This is a stitch that's done by hand, and it's used for hemming all kinds of things. You can use it for hemming a skirt. You can sew up the whole end of a pillow with the blind hem. You can work on drapes. You can use it for quilting. You can do it for quilt binding, or actually even sewing quilted pieces together. So it's a very useful thing. And yes, this one is done by hand, but oftentimes you do need to pick up a needle and thread. So I'm starting with a thread. You never want to go more than twice the length of elbow to fingers, because otherwise it knots. I have done a knot on one end and then on a single thread, because the only time you really use a double thread would be like for buttons or actually sewing up that pillow, because you want the extra thread in there. So I'm using a single thread. So we're going to, first of all, put on your glasses. And so we're pretending like this is a hem. I've got, maybe 3/8 turned under all the way across, pressed on. This is a little piece of cotton, and it's pressed very neatly. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and put it up here into this fold. See, like that? And this is where we're going to start. It's a two-step. You take a stitch into the fold, and then you're going to come and take a tiny little stitch into, let's call this the skirt. Okay? And then I'm coming back into exactly the same place, but into the fold only. And I'm going to stitch into the fold. See? About 1/4 inch advancing. And then I'm coming back to this little spot right here, and I'm taking this teeny one in the garment. And then I'm coming back this way, and I'm taking a stitch into the fold of the hem again. See, you just go a little bit forward like this. And you just keep buzzing along doing this, and you don't want to pull anything really tight. You want it to be just a loose, relaxed stitch. And that will get, this is going to, I'll show you in just a second. Let me put a few more stitches in here. And you'll see what you turn out. Now I'm using a contrast thread, of course, so you can see what I'm doing this way. And then just into the fold, and you advance with that little 1/4 inch. And nobody's going to be down here measuring how far you would advance. But tiny stitch into the garment, bigger stitch into here, into the fold. You need a good light to do with this too if you're working at night. All right, I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to turn this over and show you. Now, you can see those tiny little stitches. If my thread matched, you would never know. And this gives you a nice, soft, flowy hem when you do this on whatever it is you're working on. Now, one more thing. Let's say this is a garment for a child. When you get here, periodically, I will come around this way, and I will make like a little knot, so that if they do step out of their hem, for example, on a dress, or if somebody pulls on a curtain or whatever you got, the whole thing's not going to come apart. So you can go back and do the mend that you need to do. This is great for mending. You'll be real surprised how often you can use this to hem something or put something back together. So there you go. This is our blind stitch, or some people call it a hem stitch, done by hand on this nice, lovely little piece of cotton. So good luck with it. Thanks.